it's your Geordie Journos. Back, we did this a year ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
This very place where, well, not nearly a year ago anyway.
Yeah, our roots are very much here because Geordie Journos' idea came meeting at the pub before football, before we went to the Walker Dome. So the origins are very much here.
That's where we are, Walker Dome. Ready to have a little kick around for a couple of hours.
I'm surprised you haven't retired after last
Well, the last time I kicked the ball, I actually scored a goal at St James's Park, you know.
Some security guard in Scotland did.
You probably scored more goals at St James's than you have here.
Yes, quite possibly. But we don't talk about those things. I'm not that type of guy. Anyway, right, we got you on for a quick. And I say quick. We've had some complaints. People say, you're going to be quick. And we never are. We are going to be quick this time. We did a quick fire on our thoughts on a potential James Trafford move very recently. We're going to now do a thoughts on Lloyd Kelly, which we've said all along, as most people have. It's nothing new that deal was going to get done. We've seen, of course, this week pictures on Sky Sports News of the player going into his medical somewhere in London, clearly with his family and agent potentially. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But before we get into that, we'll do T's and C's. You weren't here when I said T's and C's last time.
No,
it's an old school one. T's and C's. It'll be in one of these corners. I think it'll be above Jordan's head. Is that just right? Right, we've got it. Four Rivers Financial Planning are the kind sponsors of all long form, even though this will be short, Geordie Journos videos. If you want any of the details, go below. If you're looking for any pension advice, check them out. They'll more than happily help you, as well as any investment or wider financial stuff as well. Right, Lloyd Kelly, what we're saying?
I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I like the player. I think there's a lot to like about him. Again, so like James Trafford straight, good size, still relatively young, 25, experienced, 141 games at Bournemouth, captain Bournemouth out of the Championship. I just think it's a solid signing, a player that can cover multiple positions. I think it's very much a low risk in my opinion. People talk about the injury record. I'm sure you guys are probably going to mention that, but I'll just quickly address the injury record. I think that probably is one concern. You look at Lloyd Kelly and thinking about the injury record, but for me, the two positions that he's covered, you've got left centre back and a left back. If worst comes to worst, and Lloyd Kelly needs to drop out of the team because he's injured, whatever, both them positions are covered. So for me, I think if Lloyd Kelly does play, which that's what they're saying to do, I think it's probably an upgrade on what they've currently got. Obviously excluding Sven Botman, I'm saying currently as what they've got two centre backs that are currently injured. I think Lloyd Kelly probably comes straight in that team, but it's maybe harsh on Dan Burn. But from the games I've seen last year, certainly a left back anyway, I think Lloyd Kelly as a left back is an upgrade on Dan Burn. But then of course the left back role goes down to probably Lewis Hall and he's probably put a marker down. Rambling here, but yeah, I'm trying to explain. I think it's a good signing, covers lots of positions, and I think he levels up the squad.
I sort of agree with Jordan. It is low risk, it's a free transfer. You'd imagine with it being a free transfer would be a significant wage involved, 5-year deal. But Lloyd Kelly, like Jordan says, comes with a track record of not playing a lot of games. But what I said in our previous video when we discussed James Trafford, who definitely doesn't improve the starting 11, Lloyd Kelly probably has a case for at least bringing the lower end of Newcastle's squad up. As used. I'll continue. Bringing the lower level of Newcastle squad up, where you see Paul Dummett out the window, Matt Ritchie out, and Lloyd Kelly coming in on a free transfer. I think it's not the most flashy of signings, but it could prove to be a smart piece of business. But what I probably will say, which we've said a few transfer windows now, it's a signing that wouldn't be beyond the realms of possibility before the current owners, if you like. It's very much Newcastle's last sort of free agent signing under Mike Ashley. Ryan Fraser from Bournemouth again didn't work out, and it's of a similar sort of standard in terms of Ryan Fraser had a decent season or made a good impact for Bournemouth, and arrived at Newcastle just flattered to deceive really. Lloyd Kelly arrives with a good reputation, and hopefully he can raise the standards of Newcastle's squad. I think he is a good player. When we've seen him home and away for Bournemouth this season at left back, he's looked really good. He's looked an upgrade on Dan Burn, but like we've said time and time again, playing games is a key thing, and Newcastle need players who can play games on the back of an injury-hit season. And Lloyd Kelly will have to put those injury troubles behind him if he is to make a big impact for Newcastle United this season. I think it's a smart signing, it's a good signing, but it's nothing I'm getting overly excited about, as you'd probably expect from any sort of free transfer this early on in the window that's set to open on Friday.
So you're well for it, aren't you?
Yeah, we're totally well for it, yeah.
And you're kind of... You're for it, but you're kind of less than...
I think you have to be for it because it's a free transfer, it's low risk, like Jordan said. There's no harm in it, and it does improve the squad and arguably even the starting 11 to a degree. There's a debate to be made there. So I'm for it in that respect, but there are big sort of, not question marks, but trepidations I have where it's like, it's not a sign-in that's going to transform Newcastle, but it doesn't have to be.
I think if you base it on his ability alone, I think it's a genius signing, in my opinion.
He's 25 years
because
old.
if Lloyd Kelly doesn't have this injury record, then you are signing a very, very good player, and I think you can't ignore the injury record. But I do think if you can put that behind them, as I say, Newcastle have got a really good player on their hands, and that's one thing I'm trying to not look at. I'm not trying to look at the injury record, I'm looking at the player that they've signed, and for me, a fit Lloyd Kelly is a very, very good player on that Newcastle team.
I kind of understand that thought, really, when you're talking about like the idea of being a genius signing. It feels very low risk. Of course, he'll be on decent wages and things like that, but it does feel quite low risk. But I'm also kind of listening to you and thinking I'm somewhere there as well, that it's hardly one that I could get excited about. It's not one that really whets the appetite. It just feels like a filler signing, a one that almost is just the appetizer for the summer to come. Like you're going to have to do a lot more to get me excited in the summer transfer window than go for James Trafford and go for Lloyd Kelly. Kelly himself.
Sorry, I'm just saying, like Newcastle's almost transfer policy the past couple of years has been signing relegation threatened or lower half English players.
Yeah.
Or British players, so
it's worked out. I was talking.
It's worked out okay.
It has actually. The only one that I think of the young English sort of idea that hasn't. Hall came good. Well, maybe we'll reserve judgment, but he looked very good at the end of the season. Livramento was excellent when he wasn't picking up fortnightly ankle injuries towards the end of the season. Who else we had? Anthony Gordon. Anthony Gordon's like the poster boy of the policy.
I guess, yeah.
He's amazing.
But that was big money as well.
It was big money. Harvey Barnes, maybe slightly older, but kind of fits into the same idea and the same thing. Jury's massively out, in my opinion, on that one. Yeah. But the rest of it's all kind of worked, and the Nick Pope thing worked, Dan Burn worked, Matt Targett worked. Then when they signed him permanently, it obviously didn't work. And
this signing, you'd imagine, probably moves him on.
You would think so. The only problem I think with that is how the hell do you get rid of a near £100 million near 100k a week supposedly player who hasn't played a game barely
in the past 2 years, really.
Exactly. How do you? That is. I think
not got age on his side anymore either.
I think he's a decent player. But it's got the Deadwood feel about it if you're trying to progress as a squad. On to Kelly, my thoughts on Kelly, because I realise we're getting towards 9 minutes, and the time thieves out there who don't want to see the Geordie Journos go past 15 minutes will start complaining if I waffle too long. Lloyd Kelly, I'm impressed by him as a footballer. I think he's got good pace, good size, good physicality. Is a centre half by nature, but has actually played more games in his career, I think, at left back. Has the Dan Burn feel about it, doesn't it? It's that very similar position, and I quite like it. I think it almost fills a good gap that Paul Dummett left with a considerable upgrade. Now, the big problem is Newcastle United are the worst team in English football over the last 12 months for dealing with injuries and suffering injuries, and they're now about to sign a player who consistently every single season misses injuries. Ask any Bournemouth fan, you've probably seen the videos from some of their excellent fan accounts down there talking about the idea of if he was available all the time, they would think they were missing a superstar and he could hit the top of the game, but they don't think that because he doesn't play enough games. Is he going to be a guaranteed starter? I would actually argue in terms of ability, I think he would. In a full strength back four, I think he plays left back, and I think that's what Eddie Howe will see him as. But it's nice. It would be nice if he stays available and fit to have that option. That on days where you want to play a little bit more and you want that Dan Burn compact, big, physical presence, which they miss sometimes when he doesn't play against certain opposition, certain formations, you play Kelly. But then if you want to go at teams, you've maybe got somebody at home who's going to sit in, or you want to get in round the back, or you've got somebody you want to break on down that side, you play Lewis Hall, because you'll get up and down that side. There may even come times where you play the both of them, because I know he can play on the inside if you ever go to a 5 at the back, or even I always think Lewis Hall could potentially play a little bit further forward, such as his ability, although it's taken him this long to be trained into an Eddie Howe left back. I don't think they'll be in a rush to change him around too much. So ability wise, I think he starts. I think ability wise he's not far off starting at centre half as well, but I think Newcastle will struggle to sign a centre half who displaces the best two that they've got. Fabian Schär, I think, even though we hear so much talk of right centre half this, toss in that, whatever it may be, I think, and I'm not just saying this because he signed for Chelsea. If Tosin signed for Newcastle, he'd have a really tough job getting Fabian Schär out of the team. I think there's a lot of people who overlook Fabian Schär, much like they overlook Kieran Trippier at times and Callum Wilson at times and others in the squad. I think Fabian Schär will take some shifting from this team. He's always available, he's always fit, he's always reliable, the mistakes have gone, and he's one of Newcastle's main attacking threats from their end of the pitch, with his long passing and his ability to find anybody on the park and put it on a sixpence. So I think it's who plays with him, and Sven Botman was clearly injured all last season, but the Sven Botman of the season before plays ahead of him. The Sven Botman of last season, Lloyd Kelly, plays. So I think ability wise for me, I think he's probably in the starting 11 no matter what. It's just, can he be fit and available, and can he be managed to be fit and available, which I think was one of the big problems at Eddie Howe last season. It's where I want to see him learn lessons. That's
absolutely where Eddie Howe has to learn lessons. Spoke on here before about last season can be a blessing in disguise in many ways if Eddie Howe and Newcastle United can't learn from what they got wrong last year. If there's going to be injuries all again this year, I'm sure there'll be questions asked again, and it'll be 10 times harder than it was last year, because you've had the season to learn. If you're still picking up injuries, and there's things happening behind the scenes that need addressed.
I think the big issue was the European factor, which just had a knock-on impact into the second half of the season. Pep Guardiola said it, Eddie Howe's almost admitted it as well. They're playing 3 games a week with more or less the same squad, very few changes, and then the injuries picked up. It had a snowball effect. If you go back to 2 seasons ago when they came fourth, they had very few injuries that actually really impacted the squad. They had the odd player out for a few games, but they always had someone to come in. It never snowballed.
The whole back 5 stayed fit, didn't it?
Whole back 5 stayed fit. Important. When Wilson wasn't fit, Isak was, and when Isak was, it was they kind of swapped in.
That was
for
the
each
only
other.
injury. Isak missed the first half of the season.
Maxi, probably.
Yeah, he was in and out. He was one of them. He's an injury-prone player, as Callum Wilson is. But then once Alexander Isak got fit, Callum Wilson managed to stay fit, and Newcastle sort of stormed to a 4th place finish. And I think that 2 games a week, 1 game every weekend, lack of European away trips. You can't really say Eddie Howe will learn his lessons, because it's the same sort of lessons as 2 seasons ago. There's no test to actually learn your lessons from of managing a squad in Europe as well as the Premier League. But I think Newcastle, in theory, should be a lot better off in terms of the squad and keeping players fit this coming season.
Right. Much more to say?
I just wanted to say one more point on the signing Kelly. The centre back situation, Newcastle have strengthened the position that absolutely had to do. They've done it for, in theory, it is a free transfer. Obviously, wages, ears and fees, etc. all come on top of that. But they've strengthened the position that need to. Can it be that Newcastle now, okay, they might go into another centre half, but allows you to commit money elsewhere to go and strengthen other areas of the pitch? I think that's a positive. It's
a box ticking signing rather than a transformative signing. It's like,
enabler.
Right, that has sorted us out defensively. Now let's go for our top targets further forward or further back, even in terms of a goalkeeper.
We might even discuss some of that on another edition of the Geordie Journos. Let us know what you guys want us to talk about. We come to the summer with a blank page, fresh ideas. What do you want me to talk about? Do you like this? Let me know in the comments by liking the video, by sharing it if you can be bothered, and also clicking the bell, as Dom loves to ask you to do.
Ring the bell.
It's his favourite, ring the bell. Right. I think let me know if you want me to talk about transfers, if you want me to talk about, we're thinking about doing a bit of a wider keep, buy, keep, sell, etc., whatever that was. We'll do something like that very soon, possibly next week, but we'll probably pop in and do a video towards the weekend and let me know, what do you want us to talk about. We've got a few topics that we would like to talk about, but let us know. You guys who watch us, we want to know your feedback. What do you want us to talk about? And the weekend video will have a little tease for you. In fact, we've done the tease. We will. This is the final tease, the end, the tease to end all teasers. We will have some big news, big Geordie Journal news in our weekend video. So do stay tuned for that one. Right, like, comment, share, subscribe for all your Geordie Journals content.